Guys, CNBC just did NIO dirty. All right. Imagine right now, all right, it's 2024, and I tell you that the iPhone 12 is currently what's being sold everywhere, and that this is the best product, because that's exactly what CNBC did. All right. CNBC's video quite recently, I'm not sure if you guys watched it, I'll have some clips in this video, but they basically compared NIO and Li Auto and XPeng and BYD to Tesla. The kicker, all right, the real kicker in the guts is the fact that they used a first-gen NIO EC6, the same car that I have, that I'm sitting in right now. I've had this car for 3.5 years. So they used basically a 4-year-old car to review, to tell everybody, the Western audience, about NIO, a 4-year-old car, all right? And they also used a Gen 1 NIO swap station. Eunice Yoon, the presenter in that video, talked about how NIO advertised 3 minutes for battery swap, but then in actuality, when he tested it at that Gen 1 swap station, the time was more like 10 minutes.
A little less than 10 minutes.
And he also showed the screen, how it only had like 4 batteries. And, it's very deceiving, all right? Out of all these swap stations here in Beijing, and that was in Beijing, by the way, there are only like 14 Gen 1 swap stations, and everything else, there's like almost 100 other swap stations are all Gen 2 and Gen 3 swap stations. So it seems like it's done intentionally to make NIO look bad. Imagine me reviewing this car, my 4-year-old car right now, telling you this is what NIO has currently at the moment. They could have picked any single car, right? Here on my shirt, NIO's got 8 different models that they're selling right now. They could pick any one of those and reviewed it. Gen 2 NIOs, of course. But they didn't. And also, oh my God, I'm sure they did not contact NIO to borrow the car from NIO, because if they did, NIO would never lend them a Gen 1 NIO for video purposes, because that's just completely misleading. They stopped selling Gen 1 NIOs 1.5 years ago. All right, that's how crazy it's been. All right, so all Gen 1 NIOs were phased out by March of 2023. It was all gone. Gen 1 NIOs completely gone. Stop selling it. Yet they're reviewing that right now and telling Western audience that this is what NIO is. This is what the car looks like. Come on, seriously. Very, very misleading. Saying that the tech is kind of lacking, so to speak. Man, it's frustrating. And also that Gen 1 swap station. 10 minutes to swap. Gen 1 swap stations are almost 5 years old. All right. Gen 1 swap stations launched in 2018, deployed mostly in 2019. These stations are so old, they use a lot of other people's patents, actually. And that swap station, you need a technician to back the car into the swap station, whereas Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4, they're all automatic. So not only that, you need a technician to back it into the swap station, but on the screen, you also have to go into engineer mode, all right? Click a bunch of things, go into engineer mode to do a battery swap. So it's a very long process, right? So usually with Gen 1 swap stations, it would take maybe like 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, including parking time, all right? And for her, it took 10 minutes. But, including parking time, if you didn't include parking time and you were in a Gen 2 or Gen 3 swap station, it would only take 3 minutes. All right, 3 minutes, give or take, maybe a little bit longer. So this is completely misrepresenting NIO. They're using an old car, 4-year-old car, showcasing swap at a 5-year-old station. How is that representing NIO right now? So they definitely did one dirty. And in general, they came out with the conclusion that, the cars from China, they're gimmicky and lacking performance. In reality, have they really taken an ET7 or maybe a ES8 or EC7 and hit the throttle full on, experience that acceleration? Because NIOs don't lack performance, all right? NIO's cars, you got 3 seconds, 0 to 100. So clearly that part is also misrepresenting NIO as well, which is very unfortunate and makes you kind of wonder, why are they doing that? Or why is CNBC showing this side of NIO? Why are they intentionally showcasing older tech with NIO now in 2024? With fourth gen swap stations, they're not showing that. They're showing first gen swap stations. What is the hidden purpose behind that? Makes you kind of think. Now, I understand CNBC is an American media company. They kind of want to make it seem like Tesla is the best. And in that video, you kind of get that feeling that they're trying to showcase that Tesla is the best. So maybe that could be the hidden agenda, to showcase to the world that, hey, Chinese EVs, they're selling a lot. They seem to be dominating the market. But hey, look, I mean, they can't even auto park. So that could be also one of the hidden agendas. It's pre-scripted, right? And they do not want to showcase how NIO is actually, a lot better in certain aspects than Tesla. We've seen these kind of things being done in the past. For example, Li Auto, when they did these kind of test drive events, they would have the Li Auto L7 newest, and then they would have the ES6, first gen ES6 from NIO, to showcase the differences and perhaps highlight how Li Auto's car was better. But this was, of course, done intentionally. They wouldn't dare show the second gen NIO ES6 versus their car, because consumers might then buy their car. And it seems like they're just doing the same with CNBC. It's probably really supportive of Tesla. So they're using a 4-year-old NIO to showcase what NIO is all about. And it's going to seem to the investment community that don't really do a lot of research or don't really watch more videos in depth about NIO. They're going to think that car, right, a 4-year-old NIO EC6, which is in fact 4 years old and not brand new, they're going to think that's what the product that they're selling right now looks like, which completely misrepresents NIO. They're also going to think that first gen swap station, which has to lift the car up, which, I never go to a first gen swap station. I haven't been to a first gen swap station in almost 2 years. All right. I only go there if I must. I always try to avoid it. There's a first gen swap station near me, but I always go to the second gen swap station if I can. And even if I can't, I would avoid the first gen swap station, because it's just, it's inconvenient. It's not automated. You have to get out of the car. And the way that they showed it, first gen swap stations having to lift the car up makes it seem like a very tedious task, a very tedious thing, sort of making NIO look like it's still very ancient, or this swapping tech isn't very evolved, very mature. At the end of the day, they just did one dirty. I think it's done intentionally. First gen NIO with first gen swap station. Either that or these guys are shorting NIO. But whatever, man. It's kind of frustrating. But yeah, hopefully in the future, when CNBC does another video about NIO, hopefully they're going to use the latest product and not one from 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, because that's kind of stupid, right? If I tell you right now that iPhone 12 is the best product from Apple, you're going to laugh at me and say, what the hell, right? But that's exactly what CNBC is doing. So go to that video and then go comment that NIO EC6 is 4-year-old, and then that swap station is 5 years old. Go do that right now. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.